Most people will stay broke, not because they lack skill, but because they never learnt how to actually sell. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to sell anything, even if you absolutely hate selling. Let's be real, most people don't like sales. They think it's pushy, awkward, manipulative. Maybe you've even tried selling something before and it just felt uncomfortable or just didn't work. But the truth is, you're already selling every day. When you recommend a movie to a friend, post a holiday picture on Instagram, or even convince your partner what takeaway to get, you're selling, you're influencing, you're framing an idea in a way that gets someone to say yes. The only difference between that and making money is doing it with intention. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to sell without feeling salesy, without sounding like a pushy closer, and without needing years and years of experience. This is the exact same structure I would use whether I was selling a course, a service, or a 10k mentoring package. And if you want more content like this, real world strategies to grow your income and your online business, then hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Alright, let's talk about the reason most people absolutely suck at selling and why it's not really their fault. Sales has a bad reputation because most people have only experienced the worst kind of selling. You know the type. Pushy, scripted, high pressure tactics, the guy who just won't take no for an answer. The Facebook DMs that open with, "Hey, I've got an incredible opportunity for you." That's not selling. That's desperation in disguise. What most people do next is the opposite. They go from aggressive to apologetic. They become the nice seller. The one who gives value, helps people endlessly, and hopes that the sale will magically happen. I call that the serve and hope method. It feels good, but it doesn't work, and you end up burnt out, broke, and wondering why nobody's buying. Most people hate selling because they think they have to convince someone to do something that they don't want to do. But that's not what selling is, not if you do it right anyway. Real selling isn't about pressure, it's about control. And I don't mean controlling the person, I mean controlling the conversation and controlling the sale. You guide the direction, you frame the perspective, you uncover what someone actually wants, and then you show them the shortest path to get it. When you don't have control, the prospect does. And that's when the awkwardness starts. That's when you get the, let me think about it, or, I'll get back to you. And that's when that starts creeping in. So, if selling feels scary or sleazy to you, it's not because you're bad at it, it's because no one's ever taught you how to lead. And once you learn to lead, the whole thing changes. Here's the biggest shift that changed everything for me in sales. If you don't control the sales process, then you lose a sale. It's as simple as that. And let me be clear, controlling the sales process doesn't mean manipulating someone or boxing them in. It means leading the conversation with purpose. Most people go into sales like they're waiting for something to happen. They ask, what questions should I answer? What if they say no? What if they have any objections? But top performers flip that. They already know where the conversation needs to go, and they lead it there. I like to say that the sale doesn't really start until the prospect says no for the first time. Remember, you're not controlling the person. You're controlling the structure of how the conversation unfolds. There's a method I use that works like a spiral. There's not enough time in this video to go into all the mechanics and the details of it, but the idea is this. You guide people through a loop that always brings the focus back to their goal rather than the product. Instead of pitching and praying, you move in cycles. Ask smart questions, listen with intent, frame their problem more clearly than they can, then loop back to the solution with certainty. And this is the thing, when you loop like this, you eliminate most of their objections before they even show up. Because if someone feels heard, and they clearly see that what you're offering is a direct path to what they already want, well, then there's nothing left to argue. Objections don't need to be overcome, they just need to be outpaced. The more control you have over where the conversation is going, the less you have to convince someone. And that's when the sale starts to get fun. That's when you start closing with calm confidence, no pressure, no gimmicks. Okay, so now you've got control of the conversation. So let's talk about why people actually say yes. Now, there are 3 laws that top closers live by, and once you understand them, you'll start seeing sales in a completely different way. People don't buy from strangers. They buy from trusted authorities. Now, that doesn't mean that you need 10,000 followers or a blue check, but it does mean you need to position yourself as someone who knows what they're talking about. Being seen as an expert is about certainty. If you sound unsure, hesitant, or like you're asking for their permission, well, people are going to feel that. But if you speak with calm authority, you instantly separate yourself from the 99% of other people that are trying to sell anything. This is where beginners go wrong. They either go full robot mode and just clearly reading from a script, or they overcompensate with fake rapport. Real care isn't about talking about the weather or asking about someone's dog. It's about actually listening to them, asking questions that matter, showing you understand what they want, not just what you're trying to sell. People are used to getting ignored, whether it's by their colleagues, by their boss, by their wife. So don't try to be their friend. Be the person who finally listens to them, finally gets them. That is how you build strong rapport. Now, you've probably heard the phrase, people buy with emotion, not logic. But that's not entirely true. The truth is, people buy emotionally, then they justify with logic. If you just list features or pricing, then you're relying solely on logic. But if you paint a picture of how their lives will change after buying, well, that's when emotion starts to kick in. And emotion is what moves people. Now, the last thing you want to do is sound like a salesman. You want to sound like the solution to their problems. If you anchor yourself as an expert, you show that you genuinely care about solving their problem, and you frame the outcome in a way that feels like buying is the only clear option, then the sale becomes natural. You're not closing them, they're closing themselves. Alright, now let's get tactical, because it's not just what you say that closes a sale, but how you say it. Tonality is everything. You can say the exact same sentence in 2 completely different tones and get 2 completely different reactions. When you speak with confidence, clarity, and calm certainty, it builds trust. You're not begging for the sale, you're guiding someone to make a decision that's right for them. Now, there are 3 tonalities that I use in almost every sale. Certainty, when painting the vision. Clarity, when asking key questions. And calm authority, when handling doubts or objections. When your voice matches your belief, people are going to feel it. Now let's talk about language patterns. Most people use phrases like, does that make sense? Would you be interested in such and such product? But those phrases are no good. They signal doubt. Instead, you need to be using language patterns that have been proven to work. Like, tell me, does this sound like something that would work for you? Money aside, do the results we just talked about feel like a right fit? Out of curiosity, what would make this a no-brainer for you? These don't just sound better, they're frames. They shift the energy of the conversation and subtly pull the prospect into making decisions. Great salespeople don't pitch, they guide. Instead of pushing your product, pull out the truth. Ask what's keeping them stuck. Ask what they actually want, and then connect the dots. That is how you lead someone to the sale without ever sounding like a salesperson. If I had to start from zero and sell anything today, no list, no brand, no leads, here's exactly what I'd do. Get clear on the one problem you solve and the one offer that you're selling. Doesn't matter if it's a service, a product, or an affiliate offer. Clarity is leverage. Know the results. Know the value, know your numbers. Remember, you need to be an expert. Then I'd start conversations, not cold pitching, not link dropping, just showing up where people are. YouTube comments, Facebook groups, TikTok DMs, wherever, but always leading with value. Ask smart questions. Be human, but be sharp as a tack. If they're a good fit, guide the conversation. Qualify, don't convince. You're not begging anyone, you're choosing who you want to help. This is a big mistake I see all the time. Far too many salespeople waste their time pitching to people who just aren't qualified. Every day, I'd aim to have 5 to 10 real conversations. No spam, no fake urgency, just smart, structured chats with people that I can actually help. Because sales is not about pushing. It's about clarity, control, and confidence. And the more you practice this daily rhythm, the better you'll get at it. Now, if you want to go deeper into how to close more deals, influence ethically, and master the psychology of sales, I offer one-to-one high-ticket closing available through my academy. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Just fill out an application form. I only take on a few private clients at a time, but if you're serious about learning this, then we'll talk. Drop a comment below and let me know what's the hardest part of selling for you right now. Is it the pitch, handling objections, or starting conversations? And of course, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.